We are going to take you live to Melbourne now, where Liberal candidate for Dunkley Nathan Conroy is casting his vote.
I'm extremely proud of my family, who have been through a lot over the last 6 weeks, but also the Parliamentary Party and the volunteers who have committed hours and hours and hours of work on phone canvassing, door knocking, pre-poll, and now here today. And I tell you now, Dunkley, they're a confidence in me, and I have shown them over the last 3 years we've delivered more community infrastructure than ever before. And today, I'm telling you, Dunkley are going to send Labour a message.
Hear, hear. That's right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, that is Nathan Conroy, the Liberal candidate for Dunkley, also the Mayor for Frankston. And in a last-ditch effort to win over voters in Dunkley, the Prime Minister has spruiked his government's changes to Stage 3 tax cuts. We have reporters across the electorate. First to Holly Edwards-Smith in Frankston South. Holly, what did the Prime Minister say?
Well, Janie, on his birthday morning, the Prime Minister says he has one wish, and that's that Jody Bellier, Labor's candidate, will get over the line and retain this seat for the government. Anthony Albanese fronted the media. He took some selfies with constituents, some who had waited over an hour to see him this morning, and jumped straight into talking about those changes to Stage 3 tax cuts that went through just this week. Anthony Albanese really trying to target the votes of Middle Australia here in Frankston and the Dunkley electorate, which they do benefit more from these changes to Stage 3 tax cuts, more than the national average. So it's not a bad play by the Prime Minister, particularly with how concerned residents are in this electorate with the current rise of cost of living pressures. Anthony Albanese, of course, also taking a moment to hit out at the Liberal leader, Peter Dutton.
We know that this community, particularly low and middle income earners, have been doing it tough with cost of living pressures. So we've responded to that. The tax cuts that passed the Senate this week will ensure that every single taxpayer in Dunkley get a tax cut. We understand that every Australian aspires to a better future.
Janie, in his appearance today, the Prime Minister was flanked by two Jodies, his new fiancée, but also Labor's candidate, Jody Bellier. She's hoping that her ties to this local community will help her get over the line. She also did have strong support from the previous member of Dunkley, Peter Murphy, who tragically lost her battle to cancer in December last year. Again, Jody Bellier, having lived and worked in this electorate for some time, her kids going to school here, is hoping that it's that relationship with the community, knowing what impacts them, knowing what they want and what they need, will assist her in being successful in votes today.
I'm a mum with a mortgage, and my son, Flynn, went to this great school. I will deliver and bat for the battlers and represent them if I'm elected tonight.
Janie, again, as I mentioned, the Prime Minister's push or spruiking his Stage 3 tax cuts was a very clever move, because speaking with constituents today, cost of living is front of mind as they're heading to the polls. People here really struggling under rental or mortgage pressure.
I'm a renter and I would like to see rents stabilised and not keep going up.
A lot of our leaders could have done a better job. They sometimes react to too many small things and they forget about the majority of people, what they all want.
Childcare, so these are the kind of things that I really feel is important, but the infrastructure development is also something important. So there's a lot of things to handle and tackle, especially at this critical time that we are living.
Community more than anything else. I'm more involved in the sports and recreation, so that type of thing is sort of, I suppose, more important.
But Janie, by tonight, ballot boxes will be full, and as will people's bellies from queuing in to a few snaggers at Sausage Sizzles if you're so lucky that your voting booth has one.
All right, enjoy. Thanks very much. Well, let's go live to Holly Stearns in Langwarrin. And Holly, Liberal candidate Nathan Conroy, we just saw before, but he's about to cast his vote.
Yep, Janie, yes, we're here. We're here in Langwarrin where Nathan Conroy is about to cast his vote. He's just right here in front of me, lining up. 31-year-old is the Mayor of Frankston. He's been pledging further support for the community. He's been promised tackling rising cost of living for people living in the electorate who have high mortgage and rental stress. He's currently lining up now to cast his vote. This is a monumental moment for the 31-year-old. We know he was a successful businessman. He also then is a big part of the community as the Frankston Mayor here. We're watching him now as he's about to cast his vote with his partner there. Now, we know as well he's been pledging that further support for the community at the moment. That's a big issue that is front of mind for a lot of people here in the electorate. We know this electorate is predominantly people who have high mortgage stress, who have high rental stress. They're doing it tough at the moment. We've been speaking with voters here as they've been saying they're struggling to put food on the table each week, and they really want a leader in this electorate who is going to put their priorities first. They said they're not too worried about Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton. They just want to make sure that they've got enough food on the table to feed their families, and they want someone who's willing to step up and help the community members. So there you have it in front of you there. You're seeing images there of Nathan Conroy as he gets ready to cast his vote. Now, the by-elections typically feature a swing away from the sitting government, but we know, of course, the circumstances are quite heartfelt given the passing of Peter Murphy, Labor MP Peter Murphy. A lot of people we're speaking with today saying that Peter is in their hearts and she did a really good job, and so they'll be giving Labor their vote considering these circumstances. So here we go. We've got Nathan Conroy walking over to cast his vote. We saw as well just before this, just outside, Nathan Conroy actually stood up and spoke briefly. He did cop quite a bit of controversy outside, a lot of people yelling at him saying that he's not willing to support the community, but Nathan Conroy fought back against those claims, saying that he is the right person for the job, that he's a community member and that he is willing to step up for the people of the Dunkley electorate. We also spoke with Shadow Minister for Finance Jane Hume. She says even a good swing by the Liberals will spell game on for Anthony Albanese. Opposition leader Peter Dutton has conceded that it's a difficult fight, but he has full faith in Nathan Conroy to influence a significant swing in the votes here. It's going to be a tight contest, and this will set the precedent for Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton. There you go. What a moment. There goes the vote in the ballot box. Nathan Conroy, the Liberal candidate for the Dunkley electorate.
Holly Stearns, thank you very much. And as you mentioned, the margin is tight. It's a 6.3% margin to Labor, and being the mayor as well of Frankston, it's going to be interesting to see how he goes there. But yes, as you mentioned, just casting that ballot there, and plenty more people to cast their ballots as well. We'll check in with you again throughout the afternoon. That was Holly Stearns there. And don't forget, tonight, Sky News will be having live coverage for you with all the results and reaction from the Dunkley by-election. Our panel of experts will be live from Melbourne, 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time this evening.